the FNL Network talk show.
Hey guys, welcome to FNL Network, the FNL Talk Show. I'm your host, Kay Montgomery. I'm so excited about the show we have today. We have some heavy hitter hosts with us, some of my faves. Diana's checking in today. Hey girl.
Good to see you, Kay.
Holly's in the house today. Hey, Miss Holly.
Hi, Kay.
And everybody's favorite funny man, Sean Bennett, looking smooth on a beach somewhere. Sean, what's up, baby?
Yeah, since global warming, Manhattan is now tropical. Who knows? I just saw a polar bear swim by next to the homeless man. It's great.
Oh my gosh. The lost vibes. So we have a few things to talk about today. First, I wanted to get into some breaking news over the weekend. A dude, I don't want to name him because I don't want to give him any kind of recognition or power, but someone was charged with murder Friday in the 1996, guys, can you believe it was 1996, killing of Tupac Shakur 27 years ago. They're just now charging this guy with murder. And it made me think about how much of an icon and a legend Tupac is, even though he's been gone for nearly 30 years. And I just was thinking, what do you guys think makes someone a legend? Like, how do you achieve icon status in your mind, Diana?
I think it really has to do with bringing something really unique to everyone else, making an impact, doing something someone else has never done before. You know, it's not enough to be good at what you do. You have to change the game. I mean, off the top of my head, I always think of Danny Elfman because I love him. But before him, there really wasn't any comedy scores, like for comedy movies. And when he did Pee-wee's Big Adventure, that was like the first example of a comedy score. And now he's done so many other things, you know, like working with Tim Burton, all those scores on top of being in a rock band. And that's kind of someone who changed the face of movie music forever. So it's just, you know, it's not about, you could be as talented as you want, but if you're not willing to bring something new to the table or make a change, then talent can only get you so far.
That is such a good point. I mean, and I love how Danny Elfman just has so much of a signature where, like, when you hear something, you know it's him. You know what I mean? You can totally spot him out. What do you think, Sean?
I think a lot of it is media manipulation, to be perfectly honest, because I think everything's pretty much been said and done. But then you have somebody like, Muhammad Ali, who like made great interviews and, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee, and things that were very quotable. So, everybody will remember him as, a legend or an icon. And, Madonna, yes, clearly women, were sexual before her, but she was just like, I'm not going to be ashamed of it. I'm going to claim it. And this is who I am. And, somebody like, say, Britney is a hot mess, but everybody's fascinated to watch her. So I don't think you have to be the best singer, the best dancer, or the best fighter, but you make good TV, and then it separates you from everybody else. Marilyn Monroe as well. I think nobody thought she was a good actress at the time. In retrospect, people have mixed reviews, but largely think she was brilliant. But again, it's just like your little twist on things. But I think largely, it's how the media views you and how you're able to use the media to create this image. More so than anything else, because there's tons of talented people, there's tons of beautiful people. So I think what separates you is really like the dance with the media.
Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about Britney as an icon based on her, the Hot Mess Express train that she conducts. That's a good point. Would she be the icon that she is now if she wasn't such a mess? If she hadn't gone through the conservatorship, if she hadn't shaved her head, if she hadn't been through all that? It's an interesting question to think about. Good.
Yeah, look at Christina Aguilera. I think she's more talented, but nobody cares. And she doesn't photograph as well. And I think that's largely why. And she didn't shave her head. Maybe she shaved other things, but I mean, so that I say, don't leave Britney alone. Bother the bitch.
That's a really good point. Because obviously Christina is the more talented of the two, but you're right. Who's going down as the icon? Holly, what would you say?
Oh man, Sean and his hot messes right now. I'm just loving it. I'm loving the energy flowing, and women should shave. I think that's going to be the poll of tonight. Women, shave yourselves. This isn't Europe. Come on. No, I just made it more awkward than it already was. I completely agree. I think that Britney is getting a lot of media attention. I think that Christina Aguilera needs to be celebrated a lot. I think that rivalry getting on a side note about the Mickey Mouse Club, and I think that the Mickey Mouse Club really emphasized the competition between Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears. That's just kind of my take on it. But you know, Britney is iconic, Christina is iconic. They're all iconic. I was looking up the definition of iconic in the research behind this, and what's ironic is the very definition of iconic, and it's getting enough interaction with fans and with people, feeling a connection. The people, and I'm gonna go there. It's gonna be controversial. Michael Jackson. I have never seen crowds like they were in the 1980s and such, whatever the era that he kind of shifted from, you know, Thriller to he after the Thriller album. What was it? It was yeah, it was the Bad album, and then that started stuff, you know, things started coming out about his skin and bleaching his skin and the things that he would do. It's kind of like what they all kind of do, you know, PR, get media attention and all that. But I swear, when you see the certain takes, certain camera takes, and certain footage of his fans, they are going wild. They're crying. They're, you know what I'm saying? Kay sees me. She knows what I'm talking about. These people are like, they're trying to grip him on stage, and it's like he's singing Hold Me, like, you know, that song, like Will You Be There song, and you know, Heal the World song. And I'm telling you, these people are bawling like they're not with Madonna. They're not doing that with any female artist. They are clawing just to get to him. You can see like some of the like most outrageous footage, and that's some of the most interaction that I've ever seen. It goes beyond the journey. No matter how good they're awesome to this day. It goes beyond all that. Like, I've never seen the emotional reaction and the pull and the tug that he got whenever he would do his, like, you know, he would do that like little air and that little whatever he did, that like like Michael Jackson type thing. And I'm telling you, like, oh my God, Michael, you know.
You're right.
And
People
it was crazy. Their minds off of him. So I think that's iconic. So,
yeah, no, that's true. That's it's like that's a really good point, because you can't dispute, like, the reaction that he elicited from people was just, it was insane. Like, people passing out, people screaming, all ages, all races of people. Yeah, no, that's a good, great point too. I think for me, when I think about an icon specifically, I was thinking about Tupac, because he was so different. Sean, you mentioned Muhammad Ali, and I think the thing that makes them both legends for me is kind of the same. The idea that they both were outside of the box thinkers. They were both talking about things that others. So Muhammad Ali, of course, protested the Vietnam War, was talking about all kinds of things that other boxers weren't talking about. And Pac is in the same vein, talking about issues in the community that other rappers weren't talking about. Occasionally you would hear like a Public Enemy or a quote unquote conscious rapper talking about that, but Pac was what a lot of people deemed a gangster rapper. And for that type of rapper to be talking about social issues and to be rapping about, you know, a teenage girl getting raped and pregnant and losing the baby, like that whole situation, like no other just regular gangster rapper was talking about that kind of thing. So I feel like the ability to be able to step outside of what is deemed your box or your area, push past boundaries, and be able to speak out about things that are important to you and affect your community, I think also things that make people legends. I think personally that was Pac's special, you know, sauce. He was also really charismatic, but I think that really added to it. So just to piggyback off of what Holly was saying about Michael Jackson and concerts, I'm so glad that you hit on concerts, because I wanted to talk about the Renaissance concerts, you know, going on this summer. We're huge with Beyonce. The Eras tour, of course, with Taylor Swift were really big this year. So I wanted to ask you guys, what were some most memorable concert memories of yours? What were some of your favorite concerts? Or I would say one or two of your top concerts that you have ever been to. Sean, let's start with you.
Sure. I pretty much remember the first time I saw, because I grew up on Madonna. So when I finally saw her like at a private venue up close, like to me, it was like, I don't know, very emotional because, people were like screaming after her and like the Beatles and Elvis back in the day. And like, if I could have seen anybody, I'd probably see Elvis because I'd be like, oh, well, what was the big deal? I've only seen it like on TV and I don't fully get it. And to just go back to your point, I do recommend if anybody wants to be an icon, the best way, die young, because it really helps. Everybody can imagine what you would have looked like. You have drug addicts like Elvis, Marilyn Monroe, but what would have happened? Who knows? Michael, he's dead. What would have happened? Who knows? Now, Madonna, bad surgery, we know. So, I just say a good key to being an icon. Jesus, young, people will follow you. Buddha got fat, he lived, nobody cares. So, that's my take on it.
Good point. A lot of icons did die young. That's true. Then they elicit some kind of like heart, they tug at our heartstrings. We're like, oh no, they could have done so much more. But could they have? Like, yeah, you're right. If they would have crashed.
Whitney, what did she have left? Other than the bathtub, I don't know. It wasn't looking good.
Mm-hmm. What do you think, Diana?
So no shock. One of my favorite concerts was Danny Elfman. I've seen him. It'll be, I think 4 times I've seen him.
Oh, wow.
It'll be 4 in October. I'm going to like the 30th anniversary of The Nightmare Before Christmas. But this past time I went in August, I dragged my mom along because my family was in town. So that was interesting, like seeing kind of her reaction, because he makes a lot of like political statements in his music, and like it's very out there, and she's a traditional Italian lady, so that was something else. But other than him, I'm obsessed with Billie Eilish. I've seen her a couple times, and I just think the way that she relates to the crowd is no one else is like her. She just throws her whole heart out there with you. She's bopping around, she's dancing. One time I saw her, she tripped and fell, and she's like, hey, you guys, I just fell. And because it was all dark and we couldn't see. And she's young. I think she's going to be 22 in December. And this 31-year-old really appreciates that. She's like, you know what, guys, we could sit down for this song. You don't have to stand up anymore. Let's take a break. I'm like, yes, preaching to the over 30 crowd, Billie. So I love her. And her brother Phineas is always on stage with her. And it's just nice to see their little dynamic.
I cannot believe she's so young. She's done so much already to only be 22. I did not realiase that.
She's a year younger than my brother, and like it's just it's crazy. Like it's just I can't get that through my head.
Yeah, that is nuts to me. What about you, Holly? Favorite concert?
No, I honestly, that's such a trick question, because I've gone to surprise, Britney Spears. I've gone to NSYNC. I've gone to everything in my millennial generation, the pop culture. But before that, I really wish I had gone to the Righteous Brothers in the Compaq Center. That's not my generation. I wish I had made all the journeys, I really do. I wish that I had seen the Bee Gees, and all that. I miss so many, because the truth, it was not my generation, and I wasn't even like a thought. Like all the older people in my family were like, you don't even relate to that. Just stay home and watch Nick at Night, watch Nickelodeon, whatever you got to do, you do you. And I just got stereo. Ageism was kind of big in my house. Now, on that note, I this is kind of like a rabbit trail. I'm going to go on to the side a little bit. It's funny that Diana was actually talking about Phineas. I'm seeing all these celebs that are now naming their kids after these music. So that's huge and iconic in itself. And so all these concerts, and that's how people are keeping even the late musicians alive, is they're literally like, they're naming their kids after. It's kind of their monument to these people, living or dead kind of thing. And I think that's the power that they had over people. Like I said, I'm with the Righteous Brothers, Diana Ross, Donna Summers, all these women, these iconic R&B type women that got their little wigs on, or whatever they did with their hair, because it's not normal. It's like lightning bolt hit their skull before they went on stage. kind of thing, and did it in such a supernatural, cool cat way that they're just like on stage with their little 8 inch platinum heels, and you're like, you're gonna fall, you didn't fall, you rocked it, oh my god, like kind of thing. And then you're just like, they're doing all these somersaults, they're throwing it down more than Michael Jackson, and you're just like, you're not like, your beads sweating, your sweat is so perfect. How are you doing like an hour and 30-minute documentary with the Last Dance, all that kind of, all these songs that they just kind of blew up singing, and you're just like, what is going on with these women? And it's like, those concerts I miss, like when music was music, and when people actually had to sing, dance, and act all during their shows, and then like, yes, and they had to hold the mic. You don't get a headset, you have to hold it. It was one of those, and don't trip over the wire. You better not trip over the wire, because it's not going to be wireless. You're actually going to have to maneuver around. I'm making too much movement here.
I'm so surprised that you are such an old soul. Like the list of like old groups you are naming right now. You're like a beach, Donna Summer.
Come back, come back, come back, people.
Back. I think for me, my favorite concert was when I was like 17. I got to see Jodeci perform. It was Jodeci, Naughty by Nature. It was a bunch of huge group of them. I feel like it was Biggie, Puff. It was just like a huge concert with everybody who was really hot, like in the 90s. And the Jodeci was the best part of everything, because they came out and I had no idea that Mr. Dalvin could play instruments. So he was like playing the drums, he was playing the keyboards, and I was just used to boy bands just singing, and maybe dancing a little bit. But to see him play instruments, I was like, oh my gosh, he is like the hottest. To be on the drum kit, what? That was just like amazing. We were going nuts. I went with my sister and a couple of friends, and it was just like so much fun. But yeah, so I love a good concert when someone pulls something out that's unexpected. Like I never knew he could play drums. And in the next month, Lauryn Hill will be in LA in November. She's coming out, and the Fugees are going to open for her, and I have tickets for that. So I'm super excited, because the Fugees are just like so creative. They have the best band. Diana shaking her head. Yeah, you agree, Diana, with the Fugees?
Yeah, that's going to be so fun. Where are they playing?
They're going to play, I think they're at the Kia.
Oh, nice. That'll be nice.
Yeah, so we're really excited. Super excited about that. So that makes me think back, because I remember going to that Jodeci concert, guys, and I wore blue camouflage pants. It was 1996. Yes. So I remember the outfit I wore. So I wanted to talk about New York Fashion Week was last month. New York Fashion Week was last month. And as per usual, there's some of everything on the runway. Some hits, some misses, some haven't we seen that before? Because I feel like a lot of 90s fashion is coming back and kind of being reinvented. So I was just thinking about what kind of style, or can you remember anything that you wore that you were cringing at then, where you thought you were so fly then, but now is like super cringy? So I think back for myself to those blue camouflage. Like, what is the point? Like, what is it camouflaging? I don't even know why they made camouflage blue. But I remember being like, this is so fly. Like, this is this was the hit. I feel like my daughter could probably get away with blue camouflage today. Like, she does wear camouflage on occasion. I feel like you could probably get away with some blue camouflage today. I wouldn't want to do it. I consider it to be a fashion regret. I don't know. What about you, Holly? Do you have any fashion regrets?
Oh, absolutely. My hair is still not right to this day because of one. Like, I permed my hair to smithereens. Like, my hair is just, it's forever corn silk. And it's one of those things where, like, how I see all these women, and most of my friends are these influencers that just like, they get online and they're just like, they have their little perfect day, and like their hair is so shiny, and like the California sun is like gorgeous type of thing, and it's like, it's highlighting my blonde locks, and I'm over here like, like going, Like, my hair has been so permed that any kind of like extra chemical that goes on my hair, like I'm lucky my hair is even in kind of right now type of thing, because I used to perm my hair. The perm would leave. I would perm my hair. I would sneak away from class, from like recess, whatever. And like, I would perm my hair. I would put a bunch of water on it because that's what they told me to do, like moisturize every now and again. And then like my hair has never been the same because I don't think I followed those orders well. And so then my hair didn't have enough moisturizer, and then I could never find enough conditioner to match the chemical. And like like my hair was like, let's perm you again, let's perm you. I'm like, and I was like 9, and then I was like 18, and then I was like, dude, like, how am I going to say no to you? Like, by the time I told her no, it was too late. It was already, my hair was like already fried. And so now it can't hold like a natural wavy beach, like, one of those like beautiful hairdos, like you all, like, it's just like, it's like honey, like melting off the scalp. It's just like, I hope I get that one day. Look for it on Instagram, holla at you, because I hope. I'm just sending out the vibe right now to get that back, because I mean, yes, I have beautiful hair. Thank you. Whatever. I'm saying, I hope I get that hair day good. I hope one day. I'm just sending the vibe to myself. So anyway, no perm.
Because I don't think we think about hair when you think about, regrets from styles past, but hair is huge. What about you, Diana?
Well, yeah, mine has to do with hair. I don't know if you guys were familiar with like the scene and emo crowd, but the thing to do was kind of like tease your hair up like ridiculously, but have it straight at the bottom. And a good way to achieve that was to get your hair cut short. So my natural hair was up to here, and you put in hair extensions. And I made these clip-in hair extensions on my mom's den. This is like so ridiculous and cringy even thinking about it. Like, went to Sally's Beauty, and I'm like sewing the clips and sewing the tracks together, and I would clip it in and then like tease my hair up and put these stupid little bows in, and I had a rib cage shirt. Like, what the hell was I thinking? Like,
but were you fly then, Diana? That's the question.
It was the hottest thing, since sliced bread. But now I look back and I'm just like, oh my God, can we burn all those pictures? Like, the shirts that said like Roar XD, like I had one that said, don't be trashy, recycle. And I thought that was the coolest thing ever. And now you wouldn't see me caught dead with like any sort of shirt like that. I don't know. It's so embarrassing, but we've all done it. So what are you going to do?
That's so cute.
Sean, I'm looking forward to yours. Come on.
All right. Well, I want to give Holly some hope. You said Diana Ross. That old woman's still on tour, girl. So it's never too late to see her. I saw her like 3-4 years ago. And I saw like recently she was back on tour. So God bless.
Did she do a good show? Tell us about the show, Sean.
I mean, I saw her like a few years ago, like 3-4, not long. I mean, but it was a great show because it was kind of like a retrospective of her life. She changed into like a million different costumes. She was rocking or whatever she uses. She sounded good because I never thought she had a dynamic voice, but it was a really good show. I mean, I really enjoyed her, so yeah. I call it
the outfits alone, honey.
Yes, she's the originator. For fashion, I'm going to go with something different. I was going to go with hair, but since everybody took hair, I'm going to switch it up. I remember when colored contacts were new. There was a commercial where it showed this woman, and they're like, her eyes were as brown as bark. And then it rewinds. And it's like, her eyes were as violet as a child's imagination. And as a little kid, I looked at my mom and I'm like, Mommy, I want eyes as violet as a child's imagination. And then she humored me and bought them for me. So of course, everywhere we would go, I'd get like just random people like working at, any store or whatever, being like, oh my God, I love your eyes, because I went for purple, of course, extra like crazy. And then it all busted when like a year later, when everybody knew about them, and I go somewhere and some woman's like, your eyes are fake. And then I was like, oh, I was like, oh no. So that was my short-lived little being special with purple eyes. But
wow, your mom is the MVP for that. She literally bought them for you. That's awesome.
Got a drinking problem, but no, I'm kidding. She was good. She was supportive. So yeah.
That's hilarious. I love it. I hate that somebody called you out. Like, okay, so they're fake. I'm still cute. You were still cute, Sean. You were doing your thing.
Thank you. I was young at
Don't let
first,
the
so I
haters.
took them out.
Don't let the haters affect you. So, oh my gosh, it is so exciting because, guys, it's feeling like fall in California, which it never does. It feels really strange. Do you guys feel it too? Like it's cooler, right? On the
Yeah.
than it normally is. So it very much is getting me in the mood for the holidays, which always makes me think about traveling. My sister is actually having a fall wedding. She's having a wedding over Thanksgiving. Our family's all excited about it. So moving into the holidays always makes me think about travel, especially because my sister's getting married. We're traveling out for that. So I was wondering, what are you guys, what is your bucket list, or do you have a bucket list for travel moving forward into 2024? Any places that you feel like you want to travel that's always been on your list, maybe you're going to try and conquer next year, or maybe in the next few years? Any places you're looking forward to? Holly, what about you?
Well, I'm a painter, I do a lot of things inspire me. And admittedly, unfortunately, I have not been outside of the US. I know that makes me like, oh, what? So I'm freaking out. My internal cultural goddess is like going, no, please. So I want to go to Europe, Paris, Italy, whatever, all that. I would love to do it. I mean, I love fashion, I love culture, I love all that, but I really want to see scenery. Like scenery is beauty, and it stirs me. So that's kind of really high on my bucket list, that, and to have like a latte while I'm like sketching on a like a building or like a national whatever, or just catching something in somebody, emotion, or catching like a wave in Italy, like splash up against somewhere, now I'm revealing my next artwork piece, catching some, canoers in between two buildings, like canoemen, and outside of like Venice or something like that. That's actually a dream of mine. So yeah, that latte fall.
That sounds dope. I've always wanted to go to Italy. What about you, Sean?
I like traveling internationally. I didn't do a lot since the pandemic. So funny enough, I'm hitting one of my bucket list vacations starting on October 10th. I'm going for 2 weeks to South Africa.
Wow.
So we'll be looking for the real Lion King, Mufasa, Mufasa, Mufasa. So I want to see all of it, man. And so I'm kind of excited. It's like a group tour. Like it starts in Cape Town, then it goes to wine country because Daddy likes his vino. And then it goes to, of course, a safari at Kruger National Park, and it ends in Johannesburg. So I'm really psyched.
That is awesome. I have a friend that travels a ton, and she went to Johannesburg. She said Johannesburg is like the top of the list of all the places she's been. She's been a ton. She told me this when we were in Greece. She was like, girl, if you ever get a chance, go to Johannesburg. She said it's one of her favorite cities. So you have to tell me all about Johannesburg. Yeah, I want to hear everything. Oh, that sounds so fun. Good for you, Sean. What about you, Diana?
As far as a few years go, I'm definitely with Holly on the Europe trend. I combined Holly and Europe. You're welcome for that. I think that all these movies taking place abroad is really to blame. I mean, besides the fact I want to go to Italy, I'm 100% Italian, but I just saw A Haunting in Venice, and it's supposed to be somewhat of a scary movie, and I'm like, oh my God, I need to like get myself a creepy like stone home in Venice up against the water. Like I just need to go now and meet a mysterious, scary man. Like when's the next flight? Or Emily in Paris. Like I've been to Paris, but I was with a bunch of college students and we did not have a lot of money at the time. So we weren't, like perusing down the streets with designer bags and eating baguettes and drinking wine. Like we got like the €3 bottle of wine. So now that my budget can afford maybe like €5, I want to go back and try the next step up. In Ireland, I love beer. I love Irish men. What's not to enjoy about Ireland. But if I have to be more realistic, within the next couple of years, I really want to explore more of California. I've only been to Palm Springs once and that was for Coachella. And if you've ever been to Coachella, that is not a vacation in the slightest. You're up late, you smell bad, you're coughing, your feet hurt. Like, no, not a vacation. So I want to go and just relax in Palm Springs. And I want to check out like the Redwood Forest. Like it always looks so pretty. I'm not much of a camper, but I could do like the glamp thing where everyone, you know, they could sleep in the tent and I'll go in the trailer, or like I'll get a hotel room. I need an outlet.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not a camper either. I'm 100%
Yeah.
a glamper.
That was
But
so patriotic of you, Diana.
Thank you.
But I think your point is well taken, because my husband and I went to Paris maybe, oh man, our daughter who's 19 was like 2 when we went. And so we were broke young parents, and we were able to go back this summer because we have a friend that lives there. So it was way cheaper because we were able to stay with her. We could do meals differently. Like we have a little more money. So it was so much more fun. Like it was tons of fun last time we went, but this time being able to stay longer, knowing somebody who lived there, it was so awesome. And really for us, the hack was, here's a travel hack for you for flying to Europe. Like, you know, everything is pretty accessible. Like Paris to London is a 2.5 train. You know, you could do a train ride there for under $100. So like we flew into London because flying into Paris was going to be, for both of us, over $1,000 more than flying into London. Flying into London, super cheap. So we just flew into London, spent a couple of days there, and then caught the train to Paris. It was so much cheaper, and actually shocking because I've never really wanted to go to London, but I actually loved London. London was a big surprise to me, really dope. The skyline is amazing. They have some great museums there. I was not expecting them to have good food, but they have a large Indian population, so their curry is popping in India. They got some good food, and it's very diverse. I didn't expect all the diversity I saw in Europe, in London and in Paris. But yeah, so awesome and awesome. But my dream is to go to South Africa like Sean is doing. That's what I really want to do. That's next up on my list. And so we're debating between, you know, when would be the best time for us to go, because I have a kid that's in college, and we're like, do we leave her because is it you snooze you lose? Do we try and wait to bring her like along, because that's going to be more expensive? Like, so we're like all in between. And then my sisters actually are planning a trip to South Africa, so they're like, just come with us and do with us, you know, come with us, do with us. But we travel differently, so I'm not sure. Have you guys ever been on a vacation with people like that, where you things that you want to do are different? Like I like to do more artsy stuff, and my family will never want to go to a museum. You know what I mean? Like, so it would just be kind of be a mismatch, but I do want to go with them. Have you ever had that experience, Diana, where you vacation with someone, but then your vacation?
Oh yeah, I'm the kind of person, I mean, now I'm listening to my body more as I'm getting older, and I know when I need to rest, but I personally don't understand, and I don't hold it against anyone who does this, but whoever takes like the 3-4 hour naps in the middle of the day on vacation, I'm like, you only have a limited amount of time in this spot. And I know I am the queen of FOMO, and I need to do everything and like be out till late, be up in the morning. And I'm trying to be better about that, but I will never understand like how you can waste a good chunk of your day sleeping. You can sleep when you're home. You can sleep when you're dead. You could sleep on the plane. Like there's always going to be sleep. We're not going to forget how to sleep. You know, like you'll never catch me being like, I need to take a nap on a vacation unless I'm sick, God forbid, or something.
Yes. It just feels like wasting money, time, and opportunity to me. Like, we're here. What are we doing? Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page, because I know that could be a very controversial take, but like I'm anti-sleep sometimes. I'm sorry.
What about you, Sean? I feel like you're trying to live it up when you go on vacation. There's no way you're sleeping.
Well, you know, it's funny. I'm like a child. I mean, I have a lot of energy, but then I need that much rest, you know, almost like a kindergartner, not necessarily a nap. So, you know, going to Diana's comment, I remember like going with a friend who likes getting up at the crack of dawn, but I like staying up late. So we just did a compromise. She got up like when we went to Hawaii, and she went, you know, for a surf lesson. And I'm like, I'll meet you by the buffet for breakfast at like 9:30 or 10. And you know, she was pooping out, and I'm like, I'm going dancing. Peace out. You know, and I think as long as you have that kind of agreement with people you travel with. I mean, I've took my mom for her 70th birthday on a European Mediterranean cruise. So clearly, like what she's able to do and what I'm able to do, but sometimes she's like, oh no, I'm good today. I'm just going to stay on the boat. And then I did an excursion. And then other times I'll be like, well, what sites do you want to see? Let's do this. So I just think as long as you have good communication with the people you go with, you can just kind of work it out so everybody has kind of the vacation they want.
Yeah, that's a good point. Not to step on each other's toes, just trying to give each other space to do whatever. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. I feel like we talked about everything under the sun, and I love it. I just love hanging out with you guys. So thank you guys also for tuning in, and we will see you next time. Bye, Diana and Holly and Sean, and thank you for coming with us today. Love it.
Thank you, Kay. Bye-bye.
Thank you.